Hey everyone, Brian Matthews here with another video for you from Southern Pine Outdoors. As you can tell, today's video is going to be a little bit of a maintenance video. Was bush hogging with the Can-Am here. I've got the 2019 Can-Am Commander 800R with the DPS, and was towing a Swisher rough cut mower. Just recently got that back and working. One of the blades got stuck underneath the deck. So took it out in the field, went bush hogging, and after about 2.5, 3 hours, it just stalled on me. I assumed it was overheating, so I let it sit for a little bit, and then all of a sudden would crank it over, and it would sound like it's wanting to turn over, but it just didn't want to fire. So I knew immediately either it's some kind of electrical type deal where the fuel pump isn't kicking on. It's the fuel pump itself, or some ignition issue that wasn't causing the engine to turn over completely. I started with the fuel system. What I did is I basically took all the plastic pieces out, and that's kind of about as far as I've gotten so far. And then I actually disconnected the wiring harness from the fuel pump, tested the wire harness, tested the fuel pump to see if it was actually running. It is running, but after further inspection of taking the actual fuel canister out, and I'll show that a little bit closer, I've noticed that the filter at the bottom is completely full. So that's probably my issue. It's probably not the fuel pump itself, it's probably just that filter got so clogged and everything that it just couldn't suck the gas up quick enough to fuel the engine. So anyways, we're going to take a look at this. Hopefully this helps you out, because I couldn't find another video, or any video out there for that matter, that really explained what the part looked like, what parts to order possibly. Hopefully I ordered the right thing, and you know, kind of the step-by-step process. I bought everything. It all came in a little kit, a little cute box like this. Not that us guys care. I got it from everything Can-Am related. There's actually a website called that, Everything Can-Am, and I will leave that in the description below, as well as hopefully the link for this particular model that I bought. But here is the back of the box, just so y'all can pause the video and read that. And then here's basically what you get. You get the new ring to go around the fuel cell, the actual tank itself, where the ring makes connection. You get the different filters along with their little metal clips to hook those back up. I believe this is the filter. This is what the filter should look like. So keep that in your mind right now, because we'll see that in just a second. You've got, I can't remember what this is called, but you've got this little doodad here, another type of filter here. You've got some pieces of hosing here that you may or may not need, depending on how bad your system is. And then you've got the hose clamps, hose connectors right here, just a simple screw-on type, which I appreciate. Can-Am, for whatever reason, makes everything difficult. They've actually got what I call PEX squeeze-ons, and then your actual fuel pump here. So I'm hoping when we actually tested the fuel pump, put all this back in here so I don't lose any pieces. When we actually tested the fuel pump was actually running, but we disconnected one of the hoses for the fuel line, and nothing was coming through. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that, you know, we take a look at everything and everything's good to go. But between this website and a forum that I've got on the iPad behind y'all, I'm going to basically try to take apart the fuel cell system here. I know y'all probably can't see that. I can't lift it up, and I don't want to disconnect that PEX clamp because they're going to be a pain to get back on. And so we'll take apart that, and check the fuel pump, make sure the fuel pump's actually still working, and check the filters as well. So let me get the camera set up and we'll get rocking and rolling. All right, so the first step you're going to want to do, obviously, is removing as much of the plastic as you feel comfortable doing that'll allow you access. For me, I went ahead and took out both sides just so I could do some other routine maintenance and just check some things, just clean up and get some debris out of from where the seats are and everything. The second thing you're going to want to do to actually change out this fuel pump is you'll have this ring here, and this ring has notches, obviously. You just basically hit it in a counterclockwise motion, and that will loosen the ring off the clamp that's actually attached to the tank here. And then this whole thing should just slide out once you disconnect the wiring harness for the fuel pump. Now, these are those connectors that I was talking about. You see how it doesn't have an actual screw? It's got a little barb right here that you'd have to flatten out or straighten out, and then clamp, or basically get a pair of pliers or a flathead screwdriver of some sort and pry this off of it. And I just don't want to mess that connection up. I don't want to loosen any of that if I can help it. I may wind up having to, but I'm trying to avoid any extra work. I know it's going to be a little bit tight fit right through here, but as you can see, this is the filter, and it just looks like it's a little dirty. The little black specks that you see, this is, like I say, what it should look like compared to this right here. So we're going to take this thing apart bit by bit, and like I said, hopefully between me reading the forum and y'all actually seeing the video and having that link to that forum, this will help you out tremendously and get y'all started. All right, so the tools that you'll need to kind of start this project, I just basically used a soft blow hammer and a random piece of wood that I had to actually loosen up this clamp at the top to be able to pull this whole unit out. The next step, and basically what I'm doing, is I'm just going by that form that's linked in the description below, as far as kind of a step-by-step kind of thing. Some other tips that you may want to do is clean around your gas tank around that entry point and cover it up with some clean rags as well. Trying to minimize the dust and dirt from getting in there as much as possible. But the first thing that you're going to want to do is basically pull this bottom cap off. There are 3 little clamps kind of deals. They're not really clamps, but just little notches that you'll need to pull that plastic piece off. You can probably honestly do it with your finger, just like that. So you may not need the screwdriver, except for maybe that last one, if you're not wanting to booger up your hand too much. Okay, so I can see my filter looks halfway decent as far as, you know, based off that forum. The pump, I should say, looks halfway decent. The next step you'll need is a pair of pliers of some sort to actually cut the little zip tie. The kit that I bought does not come with those extra zip ties, so you may want to make sure you've got some laying around the shop, which most guys do. If not, you can go to my favorite store. At least right now, it's my favorite store. Still my favorite store, I should say. Harbor Freight, and get you some for fairly cheap. Once you've done that, then there's this little metal clip here. That you'll have to kind of flatten out just a little bit to get it past that. and then make sure you pull it out of that little clip there. So what we've done so far is pulled this cap off with those tabs, cut the zip tie here, and then pulled loose this black wire by just shifting it up and then flattening this tail end down to be able to push it completely out, and then take it out of the little plastic clip here, because this whole unit is going to slide out here in just a second. So there should be a gray plug underneath, and there is. Okay, so this little black plug here, there's actually a little metal tab down at the bottom. You have to push it to get it out of the way, and then we should be able to just pull this whole unit down. If this hose will let me do this. Yep, there we go. Make sure you leave that spring on there. I'm going to put this back in, because that's a little unnecessary, at least for right now. They say it is. I'm going to use the bigger screwdriver here just to give me a little more leverage, but there are 3 more tabs on this thing, just like the bottom cap. Whew. That little thing's a booger. Alrighty, so let's see. Now that I got it out. So once you get all that off, basically the hard part was getting those clamps off of here. And that way you could actually get the fuel pump out. Once you've done that, the whole fuel system, fuel pump should slide out just like it did. You'll want to disconnect the plug here, and then you'll have this little ring, and then there's actually a piece up in here, a little rubber piece that'll sit on top of that as far as your connection there. The next step you're going to want to do, other than getting gas all over your floor of your shop, which I really don't care, is there's a little ring here that basically holds that filter on. We're just going to pry that up. You may or may not want to save that, just in case. I'm actually going to try and figure out how to save this little blue thing, because it's just cool looking. Not that it really needs anything, but that should be what the bottom of your pump looks like. Obviously that went right over that hole there, just like so. And to be honest with you, the pump itself doesn't look half bad. It's this filter, and I don't know how to even begin to look at it and know if it's even good or not. Here's the original silver. Here's the replacement. It's just black. It's still heavy, metal. Plastic ends on both ends. Looks exactly the same other than a few other little things that might be universal going across the board. Just want to show you all that. So you can remove these caps here when the time comes, remove this cap here, put your filters on as such, and get to putting it all back together, the fun part. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and replace it all, even if the fuel pump is good or not. I really don't know, don't care at this point. Just want my machine to work. So obviously you'll need the fuel pump. First step you're going to want to do is grab this filter, and it comes with the little connector, the little silver part that we basically destroyed to pry off. So you'll pull this little cap off here, off the filter, and then just basically push down enough with enough force to seal that filter on there. And then grab your ring. Alrighty, so that ring should be with the prongs facing up. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. You got your filter. Just wipe off some of the dirt and mess from my hands. The next thing you're going to want to do, obviously, is slide it back up into the canister itself. But first thing, obviously, is plugging her all back in. So we're just going to plug her in, just like so. And then make sure this black cable that's loose here actually slides back up into the canister itself. And then that should automatically line up just like so with this wheel. Basically it's a pressure thing for the speedometer, the fuel gauge, so you know how much fuel you actually have. And then you can kind of follow the form as far as putting it all back together. I'm going to go ahead and push this all up on here so I don't have to hold it all and try to pull wires and everything else. So you're just going to want to make sure that the biggest thing is, I'm getting gas all over your hands. That little plastic piece, make sure that's on there. I kind of forgot that, not going to lie. So let's see, pull it back through. You're going to pull that rubber piece off. Just like so. You'll put your plastic piece on and then slide all your wires and everything through. So that's basically everything for this. You've got some additional parts over here. I'm gonna put this thing back in and see if the Can-Am actually cranks up. My gas can's fairly clean, so I'm not too terribly worried about that being an issue. I'm keeping the original O-ring that's on there. I'm seeing if I can slide this booger back in here without hitting something. Okay, so you get that started. Grab your handy dandy block of wood. Hit it till it clamps. Okay. Alrighty. Moment of truth. That's what I'm talking about. I do have an issue with my battery still. Hopefully this video helped you out. I wanted to do an unedited version for you guys just to show you how long it took. It probably took me, between filming and doing this, probably about 45 minutes to an hour. Like I say, the hardest part, to be honest with you, is taking all of these plastic pieces out. That seems to be the difficult part. The only thing I got left to do is I'm going to zip tie some of this wire back up the way it was, and that way it'll work. I do know the fuel pump's working because I can hear it running every time I turn the key on. Problem is for whatever reason, my battery, I have to keep it on the trickle charger. If I don't, the thing won't turn over, obviously. Some of the other things I wanted to show you while we're in here, just so y'all can have some maintenance ideas. This side here, you can see that's where your oil filter is going to be. There's actually oil within that filter, so just make sure you've got some rags and some stuff to clean up with as you do that. Obviously, right here is your oil fill and your oil checker. Not real keen on Can-Am making it where you have to take the seat completely out just to check your oil. I mean, it is what it is when you buy these machines. You know, they've got to do something engineering wise to be able to do this and cram everything in such a small package. You've basically got a truck or a vehicle in a small package kind of deal. Some other things, obviously, a lot of people know this. From this side, this is where your CV belt will be. You just take all these bolts out. I don't drive mine that rough, so I know mine should be okay. While you've got it apart, you may want to grease your axle U-joints. They're actually right there. If I can get the focus, not on my finger. Right there, there's actually grease fittings on that. Just trying, like I say, just trying to help you guys out and give you some maintenance tips. You can see the grease fitting right there. And then you've probably got one for the back as well that you probably can reach with the bed up, to be honest with you. But I'm just kind of going to show you what it looks like when you take all the plastic pieces out. And that way you can have an idea of what to expect, what you can get to, what pieces you may need to take off, what pieces you may not need to take off. Obviously I could have been okay with not accessing this side at all, but because I wasn't sure of my wiring harness, I saw that it ran underneath this side on the driver's side, and it basically goes into a main loom right there. You can kind of see it. That's that harness right there. That's that wire harness that goes to the fuel cell. And it goes into this main loom of wire all the way back to the computer module. So hopefully this helps you out. Obviously my machine is not the cleanest and by no means probably the dirtiest either, but just give you an idea of how to do the oil filter. Hopefully this helps you out. If you got any questions, please feel free to give us a comment down below. Like and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. And stay tuned for more videos, hopefully not like this, but educational stuff, help you around your own property, your shop, your garage, and hopefully we can help you out with that. If you need anything else, just comment down below. Thanks, have a great day.